Hello and welcome to New Gen Marketing. I am Joshua Stanley and today we are talking about values. If you've ever looked us up, Lifestyle Media's whole foundation of what we do is all about connecting brands' values to customers' values. And today I want to talk about why that is so important and so essential for your brand if you're trying to connect with Gen Z or a millennial market. One of the biggest trends that we see in Gen Z and young millennials that is shifting the market is a declined trust in organizations, large organizations especially, but that goes across the board. With that, Gen Z demands brand transparency, and brand neutrality isn't an option anymore. There was a study that was done asking Gen Z whether a stance that a company might take on something similar to Black Lives Matter would affect their buying decisions in that organization. And 66% of Gen Z said that how businesses react to topics such as Black Lives Matter won't just temporarily affect their buying choices, but will permanently affect their decision on whether to buy from them in the future. So this idea of values is so important to Gen Z more than it has ever been in any other market in the past. What we're seeing is this essential need for you as a brand, as a company, to identify your values, identify your target market's values, and market where those values overlap. The best way I know how to illustrate the importance of values is by talking about our client, the Veterinarian Cooperative, or TVC. So TVC is a cooperative of independently owned animal hospitals, allowing them to use their buying power to keep them in business while competing with big box chains. So on the surface, TVC's product is relatively boring when it comes to marketing. They use money to help give their vets a competitive advantage. But there isn't a lot to show there. And we could talk about how you could save this amount of money, and we could do the math and show how they've changed the industry. And all of that stuff is really good. But what we did instead is connect their values to their customers' values. So we know that TVC's value is all about being an independent owner. And we also know that their target market are these independent vets, these independent owners of hospital practices. So what we did is in that intersection of values, we told the stories of 3 amazing vet practices, how they got started, what struggles they overcame. These values don't specifically talk about each and every one of the product offerings and services that TVC does. But in telling the stories on how they overcame big obstacles, these owners are going to talk about TVC and what they do. They're also going to talk about the values of an independent vet owner and in so illustrate why TVC cares so much about these independent vets and help other independent vets see that TVC is on their side. This type of a project does a number of things for TVC or for your brand. It's one, going to connect with your current target market that already agrees with these values, and it's going to further ingrain why they're buying from you or why they're using your services or why they're a part of your community, whatever that might look like. And 2, it's going to connect with new members, not members who just have the money and want to buy a one-off product or a one-off service or join for 1 month in your community. But what it's going to do is it's going to create a long-term value relationship between you and your new target market who aren't already a part of your community or buying your product or service. So as you're moving forward in marketing, start by identifying your shared values. They're probably already there in your mission statement. You may have even already written out your values. And then take your target market or your persona that you've already developed for your target market and find where those values overlap. And that's where you need to be marketing, whatever that looks like. Then you get into all of these other things that we talk about: UGC, video marketing, TikTok, podcasts, all of these other things that we talk about. It has to start with these values. You find those shared values between you and your target market or your customer. You use all these other methods right in that intersection, and that is where you're going to find true value and big results for your company. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of New Gen Marketing. I'd encourage you guys to check out the project we did with the Veterinarian Cooperative. It's a great example of value overlap and how to do that effectively in your marketing. If you have any further questions or want to connect with us for any other reason, feel free to check us out on our website at lifestyled.media. But until next time, this has been New Gen Marketing.